It's Mr. Z, and we're going to continue where we left off, which was dilating a function by a factor of x. Let's go ahead and take a look at it visually. Okay, so this is the same situation as last time. Basically, we're looking at this new function that we were creating, and that was multiplying a factor of x times the output. You can see that the output is clearly graphed. So when it's f of x is equal to x plus 3, I want you to recognize that this equation right here is that guy. Okay? Now, the factor of x is graphed this time. Last time, it was not. It is going to be, if I graph just x, with all the inputs and outputs, it would look like so. And then the new one is the product, which we explored last time. Notice how the x-intercept from the blue graph and the x-intercept from the green graph are the x-intercepts of the product. Okay, cool. Let's see what else we can examine. So we have to look at the region of space between x is equal to -8 and x is equal to -3. This is the domain when we're looking at the space. Interval, I keep using this word, we're going to be looking at the region. So we're going to look at from here, from -8 and from -3. And if you want to think about it as a form of inequality, it's not touching -8 and -3. We're looking at the region between these two spaces. So it would be -8. The number has to be bigger, but that number has to be smaller than -3. So let's go ahead and look at this space. Well, what is happening for my y equals x? So in the region, the outputs, notice how it is a negative number. All of my outputs in this region, so from -8 to -3, all of the green is negative. For this same region of space, if I were looking at the blue equation, all of my outputs are negative. So this represents f of x. This is representing what I'm multiplying it by. Notice g of x. In this region of space, g of x are all positive values. It's above the x-axis. Want to know why? G of x is equal to x times f of x. A positive number is equal to a negative times a negative. Let's do another one. Let's consider the interval between -3 and 0. Again, if I'm looking at it as a number line, it's horizontal because I'm dealing with the domain between -3 and then 0. Remember, I am looking at the space between it. To represent that as an inequality, it will be -3 is bigger than any of the numbers, or is the least, and then it has to get close to 0. So let's look at my graph. Notice in the region between -3 and 0, notice how the blue equation is above the x-axis. The blue equation is a positive number. Notice below the x-axis is the green equation, meaning a negative number for x. Because g of x is created by taking x and multiplying it by f of x, you can see how a negative number times a positive number is going to result in g of x being a negative part. Is this true? The region between -3 and 0, what I'm highlighting now, notice how it's below the x-axis? It's negative between -3 and 0.